With all of the work I have been making, it is really easy to get burned out. In October last year, I completed a month-long art challenge, Peachtober. And while I was proud, I was completely drained for the majority of November. And then some life stuff happened in December. But halfway through December, I started to get worried about this burnout lasting for months. I knew I needed to snap out of it. And I mean, especially because I want art to be my job. I need to make it sustainable. I spent a lot of time just sitting at my desk waiting for art to happen. Then I remembered something I discovered in my previous sketchbook. And so I wanted to make this video to show you how I get out of burnout and creative blocks. And it's as simple as cute animals. Pets are a lot of fun, especially when they get caught doing something funny. And I have to admit, my drawings and paintings of them aren't even good. But that's the point. I have a hard time just enjoying the process. I always worry about making something that is good. But when I draw animals making funny faces, all my worries melt away, and I just make it. I don't worry much for accuracy, but focus instead on it filling my creative cup. And sure, there are other ways to help get out of burnout or creative ruts, but after creating an animal warm-up, as I like to call them, it gets me not only warmed up, but excited and motivated to make something. In last week's video, I talked about the goals that I have for 2024, and I explained that going into the painting that I had made for that video, I was burned out for about a month and a half prior, and that was because I did a month-long art challenge that left me completely drained. But after I made an animal drawing of a cute cat, it was like I had reintroduced myself to art. I couldn't stop painting anymore. I made the art piece for the New Year's painting, and then I quickly moved on to my next videos. I started making more pet paintings and filmed it, and that's what I wanted to do in this video. Because of these paintings, I also felt invigorated to start the 100 Scene Studies challenge, and I talk about that a lot more in my next video, but I wanted to briefly mention it real quick because I went straight into this challenge right after recovering from burnout because I had so much fun and felt so much better after making these animal paintings. And yeah, it's probably not going to be my cure for everything, but I think that it'll get me pretty far. Sitting down to paint a really cute animal has been so much fun. I cannot tell you how much fun it is to sketch out a painting of a cat doing something ridiculous, or a dog having their head tilted just a little bit too far to where they look a little bit crazy, or a dog getting so excited that the picture that was taken made them have a really funny face. And I've even gone into painting cows that are making really funny faces, squeezing their heads through fences, and cows just being baby cows and being a little crazy. But I have truly had a lot of joy come out of this, looking at a really cute animal and trying to redraw them. And like I said before, no, my drawings are not accurate, but I think it is actually helping with my accuracy drawing from reference. I think it actually helps quite a bit. And even though the intentions behind working on these paintings aren't for me to improve my skills in any way, I think that I'm still doing that. I have been consistently drawing pretty much the same animals. It's cats, dogs, tigers, and cows. That's been my range of animals so far. And I have a lot more animals in my Pinterest board, but these animals have been a lot of fun to draw, and I think I'm getting better. it's a little bit easier to draw cats now because I've been drawing them pretty frequently. Now, I'm going to say something that's a little bit controversial. Most people, for burnout, what works best, I think, is for people to take a break. And that's just not how I'm wired. If I take a break, I will take the longest break and I will not come back to it. I will close my sketchbook and not open it for several months. For me, taking a break is not an option because when I take a break from my art, I leave my art with the mindset that I'm just bad and that I just can't do it and that I shouldn't try anymore. It's not a great mindset, but taking a break when I am burnt out or in a creative block is just not for me. Yes, I will take a break for probably 20 to 30 minutes. If I'm having a really hard time and it's just not working, then I will give myself a day or two. The most that I give myself is probably 3 days, and then I sit down and I force it out of me. And for me, that's what works. It's not going to work for everybody. Everybody is going to have to experiment, and unfortunately, they're going to have to get burned out and in creative ruts a lot and figure out what works best for you personally. I mentioned in my previous video that I have a bad habit of taking on way too much work, and that's how I get to the point where I'm always burnt out. Because of my experience overloading myself, I constantly have to find ways to get myself motivated. And while there are a lot of ways that I have learned that I am able to do it, there are two options for me. Well, not really. The number one option is to make bad art and to be okay with making bad art. And that's why I have a trash sketchbook. I show a lot of finished work on my channel now, and I also want you to know that I have a sketchbook where I have the ugliest doodles ever. I will literally open up to a random page in my sketchbook and just scribble for no reason, just scribble all over the whole page. And you know what? It helps. It is a really ugly sketchbook, but you know what? It helps me keep my thoughts organized. I write notes in my sketchbook, I scribble, and I make little silly doodles that I will try to recreate later that won't quite look the same. But I have to force myself somehow. Whether that's through an animal portrait or scribbling in my trash sketchbook. Those are really my two options, and most of the time neither one of them turn out good, but they both turn out fun. And drawing a cute, funny animal just happens to be a lot more fun because it's a cute, funny animal. I don't have anything else to share for this video. I kind of wanted to create a shorter video to throw in here because all of my videos for January are pretty long ones. Last week's video was probably about 26 minutes or so, and then the next two videos that I have planned for the rest of the month are going to be pretty long ones, so I wanted to create a quick video for you guys so that way we could have a little bit of a breakup in those extra long videos. I'm actually really proud of myself for making longer videos because I have a bad habit of making videos that are under 10 minutes, and ideally people prefer to have something that's on the long side or some sort of variation. So I want to have a lot more variation in my videos moving forward, and this video is just a little bit of a break and also a little bit of a reminder to take care of yourself and try out new stuff and listen to yourself when you are in those creative and art blocks and feeling burnt out, because only you can decide what is the best way for you to deal with your situation. You can take all the advice that you want, but at the end of the day, your body is still going to need whatever you're going to need. And sometimes that's a break, and sometimes that's to force your art. I don't condone anybody forcing their art, that is just what works for me, and I think it could work for other people, but obviously I don't want anyone to try to force it and then end up worse off than where they are. So take what I say with a grain of salt. This is just my experience. If you have other ways that you deal with burnout or art block, leave them in the comments below, and you can maybe help somebody else who didn't find this video all that helpful. Alright, well, thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of this, even if maybe this isn't how you deal with burnout or art block. Hopefully you enjoyed the artwork in the background, and have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Bye.